gaming some concepts or storytelling concepts. With the story, hello, sorry. I'm sorry, I think my network threw me out. I'm very sorry about that. So I will share my screen again. Hello, can you hear me? And can you see my screen?
Yes, we can hear you now and we can see your screen.
Okay, thank you. So before I left the meeting or before my internet threw me out, I was saying something about the steps in creating your games. Like I said, the first step is scripting. The second one is storyboarding. Why the third one is interpretation using a software or a tool. The first one I said about scripting, in simple words, scripting is stories written in text. Storyboarding, stories written in pictures, while the last one is when we use our software to visualize our game, bring it to life. So that is it. In scripting, I said that for you to be able to solve problems, you need to check the environment. What is the issue? What is the problem? So that you can be able to, when you see the problem, you will be able to get a solution to it. Now, I use myself as an example. Okay, I said, okay, in my own area, I'm having power, maybe electricity issue, our Nigerian stuff now, right? And when I look at the environment, okay, I want to use this electricity stuff. I want to use it as a game. I need to write down my script. I need to write how to solve it using games. I need to write it down. I need to use paper and biro to write it down. And if I'm a very lazy person that I don't want to use biro and paper, I can open my Microsoft Word or open my notepad to type it, to type what I want to do. My scripting, I should type in my story there. When I'm done with my storytelling aspect or the scripting aspects, I go to my storyboarding, which I said stories written in pictures. This is an example of storyboarding. And I think they have like 3 friends or so, and this, this is not like scripting, but this is storyboarding, where you have to put your pictures and the scenes one by one until you achieve your goal. So the first one, do not forget, it is scripting. The second one, it is storyboarding. Why the last one, it is interpretation. So now this is it. So I will I've explained the storyboarding and all that. So now we have different tools in creating games. We have different tools in creating our games, and they are user friendly for learners. Even they are user friendly for kids. For primary 1, they can do it. they can build their own games. Primary 2 can also build their own. Primary 3, Primary 4, Primary 5, normal and year 7, year 8 to university level. We have different tools for all that. An example of the tools we have the G-Develop, Turntable, Kodu. For primary school, our curriculum is our curriculum is set in a way that here they use no code software for their game development. But when it comes to secondary school, like year 7 to 9, they usually write code to build their games. So we will start with this no code software called Kodu Game Lab. I said, okay, I kept the link there in the chat box that you should all go to the chat box. You will see the link to the setup. When you click on the link, it will take you to the website where you can download it. It's not that heavy, it's 400 and something heavy MB. So it's not heavy at all for us to start a game. So now we also like, I've already said game computer is playing, having your computer in. So for this video game now, we have our video game. Video game and computer game, they are the same thing. Electronic games, just like Miss Kemi said, chess. You have normal chess, normal physical chess that you have to play, and you have the digital one. The digital one is the computer game. We call it computer game, and also it is also similar to video game. So it is the same thing. It is the same thing. And here they gave us examples of video games. Let me just say educational one like Minecraft. We also, even in our curriculum, we have Minecraft education in our curriculum. Yeah, we have it because that Minecraft is also, it's for learners. I said something about critical thinking and their creativity. Like this Minecraft, it is a tool that actually stimulates creativity. Yes, it really stimulates creativity. So we encourage Minecraft. It's in our own curriculum in Brain Arts. It is in our curriculum in Brain Arts. So, and all that, we have our game characters. We have different games. I don't know the games that we do play, but no matter what, you will see the character of the game. I don't know the character of the game. You will have the character. So that character of the game, it is like we all understand the character. It is like the living thing in that game, like you understand. We also have the object character. The object character, it is the non-living things like the chair, what you will actually use to decorate your scene. We also have the scene or the environment. The scene is still the same thing like the environment. So the environment of your game. Don't worry, when I start with my introduction, and I'll tell you the name of the game we want to build, you will tell me the environment we can use for the game. You will tell me the character we can use for the game, and you will tell me the objects we can use for the game. So the programming, when you design your game, when you design the scene or the environment of your game, where you had your characters and others, then you start thinking of the programming aspect. The programming aspect, it is the logical aspect. It is the logical aspect. So when you design your game, you do whatever you want to do, then you start, after that, that's when you start programming. So here it says game programming is giving instructions to your game character so it can perform a particular task or action. So that is it. So now the environment, I explained this environment to you. And now the Kodu Game Lab. The Kodu Game Lab, it is owned by Microsoft and it is built on C#. They use C# to develop this Kodu, but you won't see the back end. You won't see the back end. The only thing you will just see, it is the environment, the 3D environment, where you can drag and drop and do all sort of things. But behind the scene, the back end, it is built on C#. So now I'm going to start by launching my software, my tool. Like I said, I will just take you through the introductory aspects. Then if you want to learn more and all that, then we have teachers training. We do our teachers training. We do our teachers training. I think the next teachers training is in Abuja. So that is it. But we'll just take. So now I'm going to stop. I will stop sharing my screen now, then launch my code. But before I stop sharing my screen, please, do you have any question? Before I move on, any question? If you have any question, please, you can use the icon, the icon. Then I think we'll call you to. So let me stop sharing my screen. Please, any question? If you have any question, kindly use the raise an icon, or you see the reaction there. Just use it, then we'll call you. Hello, can I move on? Hello? Mr. Abdul Kadri Salman, please, can you unmute yourself? Mr. Abdul Kadri Salman, let me just say Mr. Salman, so that I will not say. Please, Mr. Smart, confirm if you can hear me. Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, Ms. Busala, we can hear you.
Okay. So please, can I move on? Miss Kayode, Mr. or Miss, I don't know. Maybe I'll just call your name. I don't know if it's Mr. or Mrs. But I know that I can see names there. Adiola, Salma, Doris. I know Miss Kayode. I know Miss Kayode.
Yeah, you can move on. I'm with you.
Salma said the network is bad, yeah? It keeps speaking. I can't really hear you. Wow.
Yeah, we are with you. This is Mrs. Ike, Mrs. Ikechukwu, and Mrs. Bello. We share a phone here, and we can hear you.
Okay. Mr. Doris said, yes, go on, it is fine. Okay. So I will launch my. If you have your coding software installed already, please kindly launch so that we'll do this together. The whole education. We'll do it together.
Please call Mrs. Bello.
Please, if you have the code software, kindly launch it now. I will launch my own. Kindly launch it now. Kodu, Mr. Salma Kodu. I sent the link here. I think I will send it again. I sent a link here for you to click on for the Kodu setup. Kodu, it is game tool, like building of game. And also it is owned by Microsoft. It is free. It is free to use. It is a game development software. It is a game development software. So I will be sharing my now.
She said it's to be downloaded. Hello, ma'am.
Hello.
Please, this Kodu that you're talking about, the software.
Yes.
Can we download it Can we download it on the phone?
No, you can't download it on the phone. It's a desktop software. Desktop software means you can do that on a laptop, not phones. You know, it is a tricky.
Can we connect the system now? All right. Please, let's see if we can connect our system now.
Okay, you want to connect your system?
Yes, because we've been in the class, you know. Sorry for taking your time.
Okay. Please, I think, let me just look at the. And Mr. Salman said, Mr. Salman, please, can you hear me now? You can also use the chat box to reply, but can you hear me now? Because you said that I'm breaking up due to your network over there, but can you hear me now? Okay, he said yes, please. I don't know if you have this software, but I dropped the setup on a chatbot. So when you go to the chatbot, you will see the software there. Just click on it. It will take you to your web browser where you can download the software. Okay, Mr. Benga, I can see your hand up. Please, what is the issue, Mr. Benga? Okay, I think his mic is but.
Okay.
Please don't take from me, just go for my fear.
Hello.
Hello, yes, I'm still here.
Ma'am, this code, is it the same one we had from the previous lesson?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry. All right, well, with you, ma.
What of Miss Doris? Confirm if you have the software installed. Miss Doris, this if you can't unmute yourself, just use the chat box. And Mr. Salmon, I'm also concerned about you, Mr. Salmon. Do you have the software installed? Mr. Salma. No. Okay, but I can move on, right? Then you install it. Oh, I'm using my phone. Okay, so let me just move on. Since most people are using their phones, but you know, this is next time this is hands-on section whereby you have to, use your computer to learn, not just to see it, but at least to practice it also. So now I will start now. I believe you all can see my screen, and okay, I've launched my Kodu software now, and I'm a guest, and if I want to keep seeing this, I can do this is my, the pin is optional. You will also see this. You can change the pin or you just leave it like that. I would advise you to leave it like that as a default pin. No issues. So I'll click on OK. Okay. So now this is the Kodu environment. This is the game development environment of Kodu Game Lab, where we have different options. We have the resume option, we have the new world, load world, community option, the options, the help, and the quit Kodu. Now I will go to my new world straight. I won't my new world. The new world is for me to start my game. I want to start creating my game. So this is my new world, and we have different templates under the new world. I don't want to use other people's templates. I want to create my own game from scratch. I don't need to use other people's own. I need to be creative on my own. So I will click on the first one, which is the new one that is, it has no object inside, no scene. You have to create your scene yourself. You have to create everything you want to do. You have to do that yourself. So I will click here, the first one. So this is the landing page. The first thing you will see when you create your new game. Don't forget, we have different options. We have new, we have load, we have settings. But the first thing you should think of, it is the new one where you have to create your game. When we are done creating our game, I will take you through the load option, load world option. But let's just do this quickly. Now, we have different menus here. The first one, it is the home menu. When you click on home, it will take me back to the play, load world, and the likes, right? It will take me back here. And if I want to leave this interface, I want to leave this place, there's no back button here. In Kodu, there's no back button. Instead of your back button, go to your computer. On your keyboard, you will see the escape key. Just click on the escape key to go back. So that is it. The second option here, it is play game. This play game, when you are done with your game, when you are done developing your game, when you are done building your game, you click on this to play the game. This is move camera. If you want to zoom in or zoom out, that means you want to zoom in your camera or zoom out your camera, or you want to change let me just say the view of your game, you go to your move camera. Now, this is called object 2. In this object 2, that is where you pick the object you want to use in your game. You pick the character. Now, I'm going to select this now. When I select this object 2, I'll go to this green land. In Kodu, it is called terrain. And it is also called terrain in Kodu, but we can also call it scene or environment of our game. So now I've clicked on my object 2 because I want to use the object 2 to select, I told you about the game character and object character. The game character is the character you will use, in building your games. After writing your scripting, you should be able to identify the characters you will use in your game. So now I've not identified mine, but I want to teach you how to use the tools. So now this is my object 2. Then I will come to my terrain. I will just click on it like this. When I click on it, this will pop up. You will see a pop-up, then you will see rock as an object. You will see any object you want to pick, all these group objects here or characters. When you click on it, then you will see the single object, and you will see all other objects that is in that group. If you want to go back, please do not forget to use your escape key. There's another group object here. Click on it to see all the objects in this category. Go back by clicking your escape key on your keyboard. So you can check everything out when you get home. Just check it out. When you have your computer with you, you can just navigate through it. Check it out to see the function, to see the effect, to see the creativity in the software. So now I will select any one of my choice. I will select, let me select Roval. Can you see my Roval here? This is a 3D software. Can you see the breathing of the Roval? It's moving like as if it's breathing, just like humans. So this is it. And if I want to change color, if I want to change the color, I will just put my cursor here. I'll put my cursor on the object or character. I will use my left or right arrow to select the colors that I want. So can you see this change to red, orange, yellow, green, blue, purple, pink, brown. So you select any color of your choice, right? So I think I would select the black color. I don't like black, but let me just select this black color. But you can select any color of your choice. Please, any question before I move on? Okay, I saw no questions so far. Okay.
Okay, thank you, ma.
Okay, sir. Question? Do you have something to say? I see someone, Mr. Benga, do you have something to say, Mr. Benga? Hello, Mr. Benga. Okay, I think he's okay. He muted. Okay, so now let's continue. Now, this is it. And if you want to, like I said, if you want to select any object, make sure you click on this tool, then come to your terrain, click on your terrain, then this will come up, pop up. You select any object of your choice. Okay, let me say, I want to select tree. Okay, yeah. So let me select this big tree here. Oh, it's too big. Wow. This is my tree. Can you see the creativity? Can you see that the breathing of the tree, the movement of the tree, this is 3D software. So you should expect something like this. So now, can you see my tree is too big and I want to reduce the size of this tree? All I have to do is just put my cursor on the tree, not to change the color, but not to change the color. No, it's always green, but to reduce it. So I will have to right click on it. When you right click on it, then you will see change size. You will also see change height, but height is different from size. Size means you need to change, like you need to reduce the whole size, both the width and height, everything at the same time. Why the height is only for the height, if you want to, the height is just like Z. We have our XY axis. Is it the Z? Yeah, the Z coming from up, that is the Z axis. So I'm not doing that. I'm only doing the change size. So I will click on my change size. Then I will reduce the size of the tree. Can you see the size of the tree? It has been reduced. So I will do that now. Can you see that? Now, if I want to move it, I can move it anywhere I want to move it. So this is it. Now we have another tool called Part 2. When you click on your Part 2, you can create a part. Click on it for you to create a part. So that is how to use a Part 2. The next one, it is the ground brush. This ground brush, it works like your paint. All these learners like primary 1 or 2 or 3, or they use paint, yeah. And color is very important when it's very important when teaching kids, like even nursery students. So this paint is also this ground brush. It works like paint. So if I want to paint, or if I want to create my scene or environment, if I want to add more to this thing, I'll just click here, like as if you are buying plots of land. So you can increase it like this. Just keep on click on it. And don't forget, if you feel this terrain is too big and you want to reduce it, it's still the same. You will click on this same gun tool. The only difference, it is your right click and your left click. The left one, the left one or normal click, it is used to like build it or create it. But the right click, when you put your cursor and click on right click, then it will delete it. Can you see? It will erase the land. When you use right click, it will erase it. But when you use normal click or left one, it will increase it. It will add more to your terrain. You'll be able to add more to your terrain. You add more to your terrain, right? So now in this, we have different colors. We have over 200 colors, and you have over 200 colors. What Can you see this color shape here? We have the color and the normal shape here. If you want to change the color, you click here. Then you move to any color of your choice. Any color of your choice. I think I will pick number 12 color. This is it. I'll select the 12. So can you see my 12 color is like pink pattern. So I'll have to click on it. Can you see this? So you click on it to create it. Or because you want to change the terrain color. So you change it. So that is it. Why for the shape? If you don't like the square shape, because if you notice my cursor and you see this highlight blinking, can you see the blinking highlights there? It is a square shape. If you want to change the square shape to another shape, like normal round shape or circle, you select it here. Can you see it? This is our default shape, square. Then we have the round brush. We have the linear square brush and the like. So this linear square brush is for advanced, it is the advanced tool. So we won't go there for now. We only use the add round brush and also the square brush. Others are for advanced learning, please. So we have to take these two only for this class. It's just these two we're using. So now that is it. So I will have to go back. Don't forget, if you want to go back, use your escape key to go back. So now the next one is up and down hues. If you want to create hues in your terrain, if you want to add hues to your terrain or to your environment, like I said, it depends on the tool. It depends on your scripting. So now I'm going to add my hues. Can you see that? So you add your hues. I don't know, my rover is actually moving with the hues. I don't want it to move with it. I don't want it to move with it. Let me move my tree here. I can also move my river here. So this is also used to create your up and down hues. We also have the flatten tool. Just like our up and down hues, we can use this flatten tool to make it flat again. Can you see it's actually going down? It's going down. Click, 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 click. So that is how to make it flat. Then the next one, we have the roughing tool. This is also used, in this, if you want to create buildings according to your story, and you want to create normal buildings, all these tall buildings, you can also use this roughing tool. Can you see that? To create your building, just like, can you see that? So can you see the difference between the roughing tool and the up and down hues? Please have your computer with you, kind of install it, then walk around it, use the up and down hues and the roughing tool, use it to then look at the difference between both tools. Thanks. So now the next one, it is the water tool. If you want to build aquarium game, you should know that the environment should be water environment, just like the ocean and all that. So if you want to add water, then you click on this water. If you want to change the color of the water, you come to this stage to change the color. But I'll still use the default color here, which is more or less like colorless. So now I'll click on it. Can you see the flow of the water, right? Even if you want to edit the flow, if you want the flow to be very, very high, the speed to be high and all that, you go to settings. There's a way you do that. That is also advanced section. So, but this is how to add your hues. This is how to add your water. And if you want to reduce it, like I said, you can use your right mouse to reduce it. Can you see I've reduced the water? Can you see that? Well, I can use my normal click and left to increase it, to put water here. I can also reduce it like this. So that is it. Then we have this tool here. If you want to delete any of this, you can delete it. If you want to delete any of the objects or character not the environment. You can use this to delete it. And also we have our change word settings, just like if you want to change the settings of this code. So you come here. So now, before I move on, because I think my time, Mr. Rita, do I still have more time? So now this is just the introductory. I'm actually saying, this is just the introductory part of the lesson, which I took you through these tools, how to use each of the tools. So now, please, if you have any question, and if you have your computer there, we're happy to see your screen. Maybe you can share your screen with us. So if you have any question, kindly indicate. Do you have any question? Okay, someone said yes, ma. I don't know. I saw. Okay, Mr. Abdul Kadir Salma, please, what is the question? You can unmute yourself.
Hello.
Okay, sir. Yes, I can hear you. Hello.
Thank you. My question is about, should in case if I have my laptop and I encounter challenges to do some of these things, how do I get back to you or to the organizers, please? Thank you.
Okay. I think this question is for Mr. Risa. Mr. Risa?
Yes. I can hear you.
Okay, kindly answer the question.
Okay, please recap. I'm not sure I got the question entirely.
Okay, he said that after installing the software, if they encounter any error, how can they reach us? How can they get, okay?
Oh, okay. So what I'll do now is I will just put our direct WhatsApp on the chat so that I'll put it on the chat now. So you could send us a DM one. You could even send us a DM on Instagram. I'll put all of our social media links also. So you could reach out to us on any of those platforms. I hope that answers your question.
Okay, I think we can move on now, Mr. Salma. And also our teachers training we have our teachers training in Abuja, June. So I don't know your location, maybe it's in Abuja. Is it in Abuja? What location, Mr. Salma? Oh, Ilorin. Oh, okay. So apart from that, like what Ms. Teresa said, she will drop our social media handle there. You can contact us from there. So thank you. Okay, so that is it. That is it about the thing. So now, before I just end this now, let's think of a game, a very simple game. I think Miss Kemi should just tell us a game that she wished to build. What we will only do is for us to identify the environment of the game. We'll do that together. To identify the game character, to identify the game object. And like I said, and also, okay, yeah, I mentioned the environment. So Miss Kemi, can you mention a game that you wish to build? Miss Kemi, I don't know if it is Miss Kemi or Mrs. Kemi, but just pardon me. If it is Miss Kemi, pardon me, this Mrs. But, Who else can I call? Oh, let me just call Miss. I don't know. Is it Adiola? Let me just. I'm sorry, Adiola. I don't know if you are Miss Mrs. or something, but I can see your name, Adiola.
Yeah, we can make we can create a game like football game for children.
Football game.
Yes, ma'am.
Football game. Okay, yeah.
Yes,
Let's
football.
use okay, good. Let's use football game. That is Miss Kemi's game as a case study here. So we are using it we are using that now. For a football game, what environment do we think we can use for a football game?
A field.
Field. Miss Doris, what game environment can we use for a football game? What game environment can we use for a football game? Miss Doris. Miss or Mrs. Doris? You can also put it on the chat box, like I will see. What about Mr. Benga? What game environment can we use for a football game? Or what environment can we use for a football game? Mr. Benga? Mr. Benga, can you hear me? What of iPhone? I can see iPhone. Please use your name. Please use your name. Mr. Joseph Amosu. What? Oh, I think we can't tell because of his audio. He's having audio issue here. Mr. Salma, kindly unmute yourself. What environment can we use for football game? Please, let's end this thing. I want us to have this basic knowledge of it.
I think it's a football pitch and it should be greenish background.
Thank you, sir. So it's still the same thing, Mr. Salma and also Mrs. Kenny. They said the same thing, field. So you're right. So now we will use normal pitch field with green. Is it green ground? Yeah, let me use green ground for our environment and all that. What of the character? What environment can we use for? What character? Sorry, can we use for a football game? Anyone can answer that. What character can we use for a football game?
That should be a football players.
You're football players, okay? Okay. So what of the object? What object can we use for our football game? What object can we use for our football game? Object. Anyone can answer that.
Football and football net. Like, do I call it net now?
Okay.
Or goalpost. Goalpost.
Goalpost. Okay. So we have our goalpost, and if you want to add if you want to add other decoration, you can add that. But the main object there, it is the ball and also the goal post. So now, if you want to use your code to visualize that, what you said, you can use it to do that. Just use your normal. The first thing is for you to, if you want to, you have to come to the home page. Please, I'll do this within. I need to leave now because I'm not saving this. Sorry, I'm not saving it. So you just have to come to your ground brush, create your it's green. So I have to change the color to 20. So you can create your environment. Just create your environment as the pitch. It can be round one, it can be square. It depends on whatever you want to do. You try to select your character. I don't know the character you want to use. Okay, I will use Kodu. So it looks like human. I can change No, I don't want to change the color. Yeah. Okay, I want it to face me. Can you see the face of our Kodu? You can have one, yeah, have another one. You can copy this, paste, change the color. You can have another one here, just rotate it for them to face each other. Okay, so you can also draw your goalpost if it is normal drawing, like let me think of another color to draw. So you can, oh, sorry. So you can just use this to draw your goalpost, normal goalpost. You can reduce the width. You have many things to do. So that is it. Just play around it to achieve it. You can achieve it with this. Just do that. So I think I'm going to end this now. This is just the introduction aspect of our coding. If you want to learn more, like what Mr. Risa said, our website is there. So now the second section should start now. If you have any question, please kindly put it on the chat box or reach us through our social media handles, our websites and all that. So that is it. I need to leave now. So bye, thank you. So I think Mr. Risa.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you so much, Ms. Bisola. Thank you for that section. So we'll just get right into the next section so that we don't take too much time. So Mr. Shegun, you have the floor.
Okay. Thank you very much. Thank you, Ms. Bisola, for this session. You did justice to that. Thank you. So good afternoon, everyone. Please kindly confirm if you can hear me. Hello, everyone. Good afternoon.
Yes, we can.
Okay. Thank you very much. So good afternoon once again. My name is Oluwasegun Obielodun, and I will be handling this other session. And in this session, we'll be talking about, we'll be discussing application development, just the basics of application development. So please just give me a minute while I share my screen with us all. Okay, thank you, everyone. Oh, so please, can we all see my screen? Can you confirm if you can see my screen?
Yes, we can see your screen.
Okay, Thank you very much. All right, so good afternoon once again. I'll be handling this session, and on this session, we'll be talking about introduction to mobile app development with MIT App Inventor. Okay, but before we dive in, I don't know, I'm sure we all know what application is. So if I can hear from us, can anyone just tell me what mobile application is? If you can, if it's an example you have for me, that's fine. And if it's the explanation, I would appreciate that too. So can anyone just tell me what we mean by mobile app mobile application? Anyone? Hello, can anyone, if it's an example, fine, I would appreciate that. Just for me to know that we all have the basic idea of what mobile application is. Okay, so probably let me just proceed. Then I'll hope to hear from us soon. Okay, so what is a mobile application? So many of us where we are now, I believe we're using one or two applications to listen to this session. So when we talk about mobile application, we're talking about an application built for the purpose of communication, and it is majorly built for phones. So there are different kinds of application out there. There are system softwares, there are mobile application system softwares are what laptops and desktops and so on and so forth, while the mobile application are majorly built for our mobile phones. And that's what we'll be talking about here. So in this section, we're about building a particular application that that can be used, and this can also be used to teach students or pupils how to go about mobile application, just to introduce them to okay. All right, so our key skills, when we talk about mobile application, one of the key, some of the key skills we have here are critical thinking, teamwork, creativity, logical reasoning, and problem solving. So these are the skills that we tend to gain, or we must as well have when we're talking about application development. Now, what are our learning objectives for this session? So I believe by the end of this session, we should be able to navigate the App Inventor interface and the components used in the App Inventor interface, and how to launch an MIT App Inventor interface. Then we'll be doing a small project, just a small project to show us how mobile apps can be built in classrooms. Okay, so as I've said earlier, mobile apps are what we use every day. We all interact with our phones. We all interact with our devices, our laptops, our phones, and so on, like that. So it's an everyday thing for us. And examples of these applications could be your WhatsApp, could be the Zoom that you're using to access this session now. That's an example of a mobile application. And we've seen in recent times that most of these applications we have can also be used on our laptops. So it's not only mobile application alone now, it's like a software, or it's like an application that is being used for general purpose, but there are still some applications that are built that are still used for mobile apps, not that we can't use for system application. But we've observed that in recent times that all these software developers are now creating a system version, a laptop version that can be used. For instance, now I can access my WhatsApp on my phone, and as well I can download that of the laptop and access it on the laptop. But that doesn't mean they're the same thing. There are some slight difference between them, but they are still performing the same function. They have the same user interface for us. Okay, mobile apps are built by software developers who write code and design user interface for individuals. We'll be focusing on a particular program that helps us build mobile apps through a drag and drop interface. And we call that application, or that web platform, MIT App Inventor. So as I've said earlier, I said we'll be building a application in this session, and that application is called a calculator. So we'll be building a calculator app that can be used on our phones. I'm sure many of us have calculators inbuilt on our phones already, but we can as well go on and think and decide to develop this application. Okay, how does this application come to being? Can I use it to teach? Can I use it can I build something like this that I can use on my phone? That's what we'll be doing this afternoon. And in this session as well, this app inventor interface helps us to teach the basics of mobile app development. So we'll be introducing students, learners to application development. So as time goes on, there are some other advanced tools that can be used for developing this mobile application. Okay, so what is MIT App Inventor? Now, MIT App Inventor is a visual block programming interface that is used in building a fully functional mobile or Android apps for smartphones and tablets. So this interface is a web platform, is a web-based platform that can be used to build application. And there are lots of applications we can build on it. One of it is what we'll be doing this afternoon. Okay. So all we need for this session is to have a mobile, a web browser, and a phone, or probably an on-screen phone emulator. So on this platform, there's what we call an on-screen phone emulator. You know, if you want to teach these basics of mobile application for students, they are not allowed to bring their phones to school, which is well understandable. So this time around, the App Inventor, the MIT App Inventor, has what is called the on-screen phone emulator. That is, when you're done building your app and programming it, you can as well use the on-screen phone emulator to display and see how the phone, how the application will function on your phone. Okay, so it's not a must to have a phone in class or ask students to bring in their phones so they can use this. No. And this platform is a very easy to use platform. Don't worry, we'll get there shortly. And the programming interface too is not a text-based programming interface. It's a drag and drop block-based programming interface. Okay, so MIT App Inventor can be used to create games. We can use it to design a gaming application. We can use, like earlier now, we just started a session on game design using Kodu. So MIT App Inventor can be used to design gaming applications. It can be used for web-enabled apps. It can be used to design text processing application, machine learning applications, and so on and so forth. Okay, so let's dive into the lesson. So I would want us to follow along. So if probably we have our laptops with us there, please, you can go on and just follow with me. So what we need is this website. Can you see, as you can see on my screen, I have a web address there. That web address is ai2.appinventor.mit.edu. Okay, but just to save us the stress, let me change this for us. Let's use this platform. Let's use this. Okay. So please just permit me to stop sharing and navigate to the web platform so we all can follow through as well. Okay. So instead of typing ai2.appinventor.mit.edu, let's type in code.appinventor. Okay, let me share my screen as I'm doing that. Let me share my screen. Code.appinventor.mit.edu. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I believe we can see my screen back, right? So I said just launch any web browser of your choice. It can be your Chrome, it can be your Edge browser, any web-based application that you use to browse on your laptop or on your device, and type in this web address, code.appinventor.mit.edu. Just type in that. Forget about the login platform now. Just type in code.appinventor.mit.edu. Just type that in. So there are different platforms. We can actually use that ai2.appinventor.mit.edu I shared with us earlier. But if you're using that platform, it will require you to use your Gmail to sign in with your Gmail account, okay? But because we're using because we're trying to introduce this to learners and teach learners this, some schools, I believe some of our schools, we have some regulations that learners are not to use their private accounts, which is their Gmail account. So one of the things we can do is that we can create a Gmail account, a general Gmail account that is accessible and is being controlled by the teacher or by the school, so that learners can be using it to access that platform. But if you don't want to use your Gmail, if you don't want your learners to use a private Gmail account to access this platform, that's why I'm saying we should use this code.appinventor.mit.edu. That won't require us to use a Gmail account to log in. Though we can still see here that it's saying log in with a Google account. We'll just ignore that part. We'll continue without an account. So that's what we'll be using. And if we're going to continue without an account, there's no need for us to use a Gmail account. So are we out there? Are we following? Before I proceed, please kindly let me know if you're following with me.
Yes, yes.
All right. Thank you. So once we get there, once we get to this platform, this web address I asked us to go to, would see these different options to access. Don't worry, I will explain those options. Now, we'll first start with this continue without an account. So when we continue without an account, it will help us it will generate a code for us, like a 16-digit code for us. So that 16-digit code will be like our unique, it's a unique code for everybody that is accessing this platform. So that's why I said students can actually use this. So once that code has been generated for us, you can as well keep that code saved somewhere, so that for subsequent class, let's say, okay, you're building an application, you built it halfway and you need to continue next time. Just save that code somewhere that will be generated for you at your first login. Then if you want to continue again, come back to this platform. Can we see your revisit code? We'll just type in the code here and press enter with a revisit code. Then you go back to where you stopped your project earlier. So, but for this now, since we're accessing this platform for the first time, we're going to click on continue without an account. Okay. All right. So, and as you can see on my screen, you see I have that code, welcome to App Inventor. Can you see it's showing for me? I have welcome to App Inventor. And as you can see as well, I have my code, my unique code generated for me there. And that unique code, if you see, they are not 16 in number this time around. They are, this is 14. No, it's not 14. This is 15 unique code. This is a 15-digit code generated for me. So now let's assume I stop halfway and I need to go back to this in subsequent classes. I'll just copy this code, save it somewhere on my computer. Once I save it somewhere on my computer, if I want to go back to where I stopped from, I'll just impute that code on that section where we have join in with your revisit code that I've shown us earlier. Okay, so now let's dive in. So I'll click on continue. I'll still click on continue and close. Okay. So once you get in, you'll be welcome with this page. And on this page, the only thing for us to do is to start a new project. Now, let's say you already have some existing project. You'd see log into gallery. You see some of the projects you've done inside your gallery. And if you mistakenly delete any project, you'll find it in trash. On the trash icon here. So I'll click on start a new project. And the next thing is to impute my project name. And I said this afternoon we'll be building a calculator app. So I will type in calculator. Okay, so here we are. So this is the platform. This is the MIT App Inventor platform. Okay, so this MIT App Inventor platform, I'll be talking about 5 different parts that we can see on this platform now. And the first part is the palette section. This first section is the palette section. Now, what do we have in the palette section? Now, the palette section helps us to get our blocks of code from it. We can get a platform, we can get a block of code from the palette section. So let's assume that you want to design, you know, I said earlier that this MIT App Inventor is a drag and drop programming web-based platform that can be used to design application. So on the designer, we have two sections. We have the designer interface and the programming interface. So currently now we're on the designer interface. And on the designer interface, there are 4 parts of the designer interface. The first part is the palette section. Now this palette section, we get to drag out buttons, we get to drag out a block of designs that we can use to create our applications, which you get to use for which we will be using for this session. And the next section is the next part is the viewer interface. So once we drag out our buttons from here, we're going to drag it onto the screen here. And as you can see, the screen looks much like a mobile phone. So it will tell us, this will help us to know how our design will look like on our mobile phones. So the next thing is the component section. Now, whenever you drag out any particular code or button or block from this palette section onto the screen, you get to see the options showing here on the component section. And the last part is the properties section. Now, for each block you drag out from the palette, you can get to edit those blocks from the property section. So that's what we have on the property section. And I said earlier that this is the designer interface where we have here. The next interface is the programming interface or the block interface. So on the programming interface, that's where the programming of our application comes into play. And this is how it looks like. We have the built-in blocks of code here already. And for any component we get to use, we're going to get the option here as well. Don't worry, you get to see it along the line. So let me go back to the designer interface, and you can see at the top right of my screen here, that's where I'm toggling to the programming and the designer interface. Okay, so now let's get into our project for the day. Okay, so let me quickly explain this block-based interface as well. So I've explained this. The block-based interface is in 2 parts. You know, I said the designer interface is in 4 parts: the palette, the viewer, the component, and the property section. But for this block-based, they're in 2 parts. We have the block section and we have the viewer section. Now, on the block section is where we get to drag out our blocks of code from. And on this viewer section, we see this viewer section, we have different things here. Now, this is our workspace where we get to drag out blocks of code. Let me just drag out one block now. And as you can see, this is like a workspace or a canvas or a screen or a blank space where we just, anyhow you call it, where we get to drag out our blocks of code on. And if you want to delete this block of code, I can just drag and drop it here. And with that, I've been able to delete that block of code. So those are the 2 sections we have on the block-based section. Okay. All right. So we have the block for the programming section. I said we have the block part and the viewer part as well. While on the designer interface, we have the palette section, the viewer section, the component section, and the properties section. Okay, so now let's get to our project for the day. I said we'll be building a calculator app, and we all know what calculator apps do for us. Calculator apps are what we use to calculate digits. Let's say you want to do your addition, your subtraction, your multiplication, your division. All these things are what the calculator app can do for us. And that's what we'll be doing shortly in this session, Okay, so let's dive in. But before I start the project, I don't know if is there any question from anyone before I proceed. Is there do we have a part that is not clear to us that we need more clarification on? So I can quickly take that before I move into the section. So any question, please. Hello, are we there? Any question?
Yes.
Are we?
No. No.
Okay, okay. All right, all right, all right. So thank you. So I'll try to run through the project so we can end the session on time. But as Miss Bisola said earlier, if you want more of this, we have our platform where you can get access to this content and get access to all other contents as well. We have the robotics section, we have the circuit design, we have the 3D printing, and so on and so forth. Okay, so now let's dive in. So the first thing in building my app, I need to drag out, I need to design the background of my app. And in doing that, I'll click on layout. I'll come to the palette section here. I'll scroll down a bit, click on layout, and I'll drag out table arrangement onto my screen one. Can you see? And I'll drop that. Okay, so I said earlier that for any block you drag out from the palette section, you get to see the option on the component section here. Okay, so and once you see the option here, you can see on the property section that you can edit that particular block has been highlighted here, and you can edit this section. Okay. Oh, all right. So okay. All right, now let's proceed. Now, the next thing is I'll come to the property section. I'll click on width and I'll click on fill parent. I'll click on fill parent and I'll click on OK. Then I'll click on rows and change row to 3. That is, I want the arrangement. Okay, what I'm trying to do is that, I said I'm trying to build the background of my app now. Now I'm trying to design the interface, the section where I will get to input my numbers and my addition and subtraction. Okay. So that's what I've just done. But we're not done yet. We'll get to do some other things later on. We won't be able to cover much, but I would just explain the basics for us. If you want to explore more, please, you get to.
Please, can you come again?
Okay. No worries. All right, so let me just quickly drag out that block back again. Let me delete it again and start afresh. So I said I want to design the background of my application. And in designing the background of my application, I'll come to my palette section. I'll navigate to layouts. I'll click on layouts and I'll drag out table arrangement onto my screen one. I'll drag out table arrangement onto my screen one. Okay, so once I drag out the table arrangement, I said on the component section, we'll get to see the option of all the blocks we've dragged out so far. And in the property section, we can edit that block. Okay, and I want to edit this table arrangement and I will click on width. I'll change the width to fill parent. That is, I want it to fill the section of the top section of my screen. And on row, I'll change row to 3. That is, I want to increase the length of this section. So that's what I've just done so far. Okay, do we understand? So let's proceed. Now I'll go back to my user interface. I'll go back to my user interface and I'll drag out label. I'll drag out label. Can you see? Don't worry, I'll be explaining this block as I'm using them. So I'll drag out label and place it here. And what am I doing on this label section? I'll come to the component section here and I'll rename that label to number 1. Or let me say my first input or anything you call it. But let's use number 1, for instance. That is, what I want to do now is that, for a calculator now, let's say you want to do 2 plus 2. In a section, I want to add 2 in one section, and I want to add 2 in another section, then add it together. So the first section where I'm going to input my 2 is what I'm trying to do now. Then after renaming the component section to number 1, I'll come to the property section. And on the property section, I'll make it bold. I can change the color if I want, but we'll get to the color part. The font size, let me increase the font size to 20. Let me increase the font size to 20. Okay. And what else can I do again? Let me rename the text. So instead of it to be carrying this text for label 1, let me rename the text to number 1. Let me rename the text to number 1 altogether. Okay, so as you can see, it has changed to number 1. Now, for the aesthetics, now let's say I want to, but that's not what we'll be doing much today. So there are some other things you can do. You can add color if you want. Let me just put a color there for us. Let me put orange color for my background. Don't worry, you can design it the way you want, but for the purpose of this session, let's just do the basic and understand. By the time we get the knowledge and understanding, then we'll be able to do more by adding colors and the rest like that. Okay, so that's that for my label 1. Now the next thing is to do the same thing for the second part, where I would impute my order value or my order digits. So I will drag out another label and place it next to number 1. The same thing I did for number 1, I'll rename it on the component section to number 2. Come to the property section, change my text to number 2. Number 2. Please, if you're following along and I'm too fast, please, you can just call my attention. I'll come back to rephrase what I've said. Then come to font size, change the font size to 20, and I'll make sure it is in bold. I'll bolden the text so that it is very visible for us to see. So that's the basic thing I'll be doing there. Now, the next thing for me to do now is to drag out another label. Let me drag out another label. And this time around, this label will be for my results. You know, after doing 2 plus 2, I want my answer, which is 4, to show somewhere. So that's what I want to do now. So I'm dragging out another label, and I'm going to rename that label to results. Come to the component section, rename it to results, and click on OK. Come to the property section as well. Also rename it to results. Okay. Then this font size, let me change it to 20. And then bolden it as well, so it is very visible for us to see. Okay, so that's that about but we're not done. We're still not done. So I've been able to create a section whereby I will be informed that, okay, for this section, this is where you input your number 1. For this section, this is where you input your second digit that you want to calculate. And this last part is where you get your result. So let me put in a text box now. The next thing for us to do now is to add like a button or a text box whereby we get to input our digits on. So still on this user interface in my palette section, just scroll down a bit and you see text box, drag it out, place it in front of number 1. So I have text box 1. I can rename that text box 1 to text number 1. Text number 1. Okay. So that's the only thing I'll be doing for the component section. Then on the property section, I'll click on font bold. I'll bolden it. That is, I want my text, any digit I enter, I want it to be bold. And also, I will make the font size 20. So we're not renaming the text. We're not doing that here. So this is the only 2 things we're doing on the property section for my text box. So I'll do the same thing for number 2 and results. So that means I'll need to drag out 2 box. Hello, please, can we hear me? When we drag out our text box, we should ensure that enabled is clicked, okay, is activated. All right. To text number 2. Text number 2. Okay. Come to the property section, click on bold, font bold, click on font bold, and change the font size to 20. Change the font size to 20. And I should ensure that my enabled is checked, because if your enabled is not checked, you won't be able to input your number. That's why I said we must ensure that our enabled button is checked. Okay, so let me drag out another text box for results. Let me drag out another text box for results. Then I'll rename the component section to text results. Text results. And I'll click on OK. Now, for your results, for our results now, we're not imputing anything. What we need for this text result is that we want our answer, whatever we are calculating, we want to get the answer in the results section. So I'll come to my property section. I said earlier that enabled help us to impute a digit, but since we don't need to type in anything in our results section, I would uncheck that box for enabled. I will uncheck that box for enable so that it won't be clickable for anybody when they're using it on their mobile phones. Okay, so that's that for the number 1, number 2, and the result. Now, the next thing for us to do is to add our signs and symbols. Now, let's say I want to I need, on our calculator apps, we need to have addition, subtraction, multiplication, division, and so on and so forth. But for this class, we're meant to actually do addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. But due to our time, I'll be doing addition and subtraction. But for further learning, we can go on to our website and you see this content there, so you can practice by yourself. Or better still, by the time I do addition and subtraction, you can as well go on and do multiplication and division, which I believe you all will understand is still the same logic. The only thing that we are changing here is addition and subtraction. Now let's dive in. Now, please, I hope I'm communicating. Are you all still with me before I proceed to the next thing? Are we there? Are we there?
Yes, we can still hear you.
All right. Thank you. All right, thank you. Okay, so the next thing is to click on layouts. I'll drag out another layout for my signs and symbols that are being used in a calculator app. So after clicking on layout, I'll drag out horizontal arrangement. I'll drag out horizontal arrangement and clip it next here. And you see that on my component section, the horizontal arrangement has been added there. Now, I will set the width of my horizontal arrangement to fill parent, and I'll click on OK. So that's the only thing I'm doing for the horizontal arrangement. Now, let's move on to creating our addition and subtraction. So I'll come back to the user interface. This time around, I'm not dragging out label. I'll drag out button. So I'll drag out button and clip it here. So what am I doing in this button? I'll come to the component section, rename it to addition, and click on OK. Okay. All right. Now I'll come to the property section. Under the property section, I'll make sure that my enabled is checked, which is okay. I will check my font bold box. I will change the font size to 20. And I will type plus, the plus sign in the text section here. I'll come to the text section here, clear everything I have there, clear it out, and type in plus. Okay, so can you see now that on my screen, I have plus showing here for us. Okay, so I'll repeat the same step that I've just done now. I'll repeat it for subtraction. Okay, so for us to see it very well, let me increase the font size to 40 so that it will be very visible. Okay, I think that's good. So I'll repeat the same step for subtraction. I would come back to my palette section, drag out another button and clip it next to the addition sign. I'll come back to the component section, rename it to subtraction, and I'll click on OK. Then come to the property section, make sure that my enabled button is checked. The font bold is also checked, and I will change my font size to 40. Change it to 40. Come to the text section here. And I'll change that text to subtraction. I'll just add the symbol subtraction there. And as you can see, I have it on my screen. So that is for addition and subtraction. So we can repeat the same thing for subtraction and for multiplication and division. So let me quickly do that. Come to the component section, drag out a new button, add it next to subtraction, come to the component section, rename it to multiplication, click on OK, come to the property section, check the font bold, change the font size to 40, come to the text and change that text, add the multiplication symbol. This time around, I will just be putting X to represent my multiplication, and there we have it. So we can repeat the same thing for division as well, but because of our time, let me just write the first line of code for us, which is for addition. So with this now, we're done with the designing of our application, of our calculator application. But that's not all. It's not limited to what I've just shown us. We can as well go ahead and add some other nice features to it. If you want, you can add the decimal button and so on, the square root and so on and so forth. And also you can make it beautiful by adding a background color, adding nice things to it. But for the scope of this session, let's just limit it to what we have here. So after you're done with your designing of your app, you navigate to the block section. Click on blocks and you start with your programming. And as you can see, all the blocks I worked with earlier is showing in this section. Can you see my table arrangement? Can you see my number 1, number 2, results, text number, horizontal arrangement? I have addition, subtraction, multiplication, and so on and so forth. And if you click on any of these blocks, you will get different blocks of code to work with. Okay, so let me quickly do that of addition for us, then probably we'll end the session, because it's still the same code that addition, subtraction, multiplication, division would have. The only difference there is that you need to change the symbols and the text that you have on it. Okay, now the first thing for me to do now is to, please hold, sorry, let me get, the first thing is to, please hold on. Let me quickly open the code on my end here. Okay, sorry, a minute. I'm trying to load the code. Okay. Now, the first thing for me to do is to click on text results. So I'll click on text results. And I'll drag out when text result, no, not text results, sorry, just hold on. Yes, I'll click on addition, sorry, not text results. I'll click on addition and I'll drag out when addition click do block. I'll drag it onto my workspace. I'll drag that onto my workspace. And the next thing for me to do is to drag out the set text result block. So I'll click on text results and I'll drag out set text results text 2. So I will scroll down a bit. Can you see? Let me scroll down to where I have set text results text 2. And here we have it. I'll drag it out and clip it inside the addition block. So, okay, that has been clicked. So the next thing for me to do now is to drag out my operator. And what operator am I going to use here? I need the addition operator. So I'll navigate to where I have mathematics in the built-in section of the block. And I'll scroll to where I have addition. Can you see plus? Drag that out, clip it next here. So after clipping it next, then the next thing for me to do is to click on text number 1, that is number 1 block, and drag out text number 1 dot text, text number 1 dot text. Sorry, let me see where that is. Text number 1 dot text. Okay, so that's the last block there. So drag that out and clip it in the first section, text number 1 dot text. Then On the other end, I'll drag out another text number, but this time around, I'll be clicking on number 2. So scroll down, I'll scroll down and drag out text number 2 dot texts. Don't worry, I'll briefly explain this block of code for us. Okay, so that's that for my addition block. That's all I need for my addition block. Yes, let me just confirm if that's all I need. Okay, yes, that's all I need for the addition block. So for the addition block now, let me just quickly explain this block of code for us. I said when addition click, that is, you remember that button we created for addition. We're trying to say that after imputing our text number 1 and our text number 2 inside that text box for number 1 and text box for number 2, and when we click on addition, what should happen? It should give us our results. So that's what this text results.text is doing for us. That is, when we input our number 1 digit and our number 2 digit, it will add it together for us when we click on the addition button, and we're going to get our results. So the same thing that I did here, we'll repeat this same thing for addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So that's what we're going to do. And once you're done building your app, once you're done with that, just if you want to send your application to your mobile phones now, you navigate, you scroll up a bit, come to the top section of your screen here, and you see build. Just click on build, and you get to see 2 options, .apk. So most of the mobile applications we have, especially for Android, are in APK. They are in APK format. So I'll click on APK. And once I click on APK, it will download the application automatically for me. After downloading the application, it will save on my laptop. Then I'll just need to get my code, or probably it will bring out okay, let me just click on it for us to see. I hope it won't take time in building. But we're not done with our application, but because of our time, I just want to round up here. So, but I've shown us what we need to do, then we can just proceed and do that by ourselves. Or Ms. Teresa, do we still have more time so I can continue, or we can stop here?
I suggest you stop here, Mr. Sherman. Thank you.
Okay. So let me just just wrap it up. Let me show them how to send it to their mobile phones. So let's see. It's almost done. I'm at 85%. Okay. So when you're done building your app, just click on build, click on Android app.apk. It will build. Once it's 100%, you get this option. Can you see the option I have? Can you see what I have on my screen? You will see download.apk now, and you see a barcode showing here as well. So if you click on download.apk now, it will download the app for you. Actually, it will now save on your device. So the next thing for you to do now is to probably get your cable, connect your cable to your phone, then send it to your phone. And after sending it to your phone, you install the application, and you get to see how it works. But that's for phone. And let's say you don't want to use your cord, your cable to send your application. Just open your camera. I think most Android phones now comes with an inbuilt AI system, whereby when you just open your camera, you scan this barcode, it automatically take you to a web page, and you download the application you've built. So that's all in sending it to phone. But don't forget, I said for when we're teaching in class, students won't bring in their phones, right? So there's what we call the app and the emulator, the Android emulator. And to do that, you need to install a particular software on your laptop for it to work. And to do that, after installing that software, you click on you still download this app and launch it on that particular software. So we call it MIT app emulator. But due to our time, I won't get to show us that. But definitely, when we check our website, you get to see this complete project there. So thank you so very much for your time. I hope we've not taken so much of your time. Thank you very much. And if there are any questions, please, you can go ahead and ask. Thank you. So any question, please? Do we have any question? All right, if there are no questions, thank you all for having us. It's so great to have you here. Thank you very much, and we hope to see you soon. Thank you, Mr. Riza. That will be all from my end.
Thank you so much, Mr. Shegun, and thanks to everyone that is still here. Thank you, Adewale, Doris, Oluwakemi, and thank you, Ms. Bisola, Mr. Shegun, for facilitating this section. So don't worry, I'm not going to keep you here. I just want to quickly show us something. So I want to believe you can see my screen. We have a STEAM teachers training that we usually hold from time to time. And the last one we had was in Lagos, but this particular one for June is going to be happening in Abuja, June 7th to 9th. So if you know any teacher in Abuja or you know anyone who should be part of this training, you want to share this flyer with them. If you have not followed us on our social media pages, you can follow so you can have access to this flyer. I would also put the link in the chat so you can click on the link to send to these people to register. It's going to be an intensive 3 days training. So all of these things we just touched, in bits and pieces in today's section, we'll be delving into them fully at the training, and there will be a lot more other modules. If you visit the link, which I'm typing it now, if you visit the link, you would see some of the modules will be covering and things like that. So I want to encourage you, even if you are not in Abuja, be on the lookout for the next training we'll be having in Lagos and in other states, right? Because I know someone was in Ilorin. So you could also, if you also want us to probably come to your school to have a training, just reach out to us. The phone number I posted in the chat, our social media pages, you can reach out to us and we can always come to your school to host trainings like this, in a much more intensive format. And aside that, we have other packages that you can, your school can also benefit from. We have our enhanced textbooks, we have our after school programs, we have all of this, and they are all available on all our social media platforms. So, and if you did not register for these events, please register, because you will be getting more and more information from us if you register. So if you did not register, you might miss out. And also, I posted the link to the recording, which is on our YouTube page, which would also still send to your email. So if you did not register, please just click the link in the chat so we can have your email, so that when we have opportunities, you can be the first to hear. So thank you all so much. I'm just going to wait 1 minute if anybody wants to ask any questions or say anything before we wrap up for today. So anyone who wants to ask a question, say anything, clarify anything before we wrap up. Okay, so please, I want to indulge us again. Please click on that link so that we're not trying to spam your emails or anything, but so that when things are happening, you can always know, you can be the first to hear. And please, it would also be good if you share this. The recording is there, the YouTube on YouTube is there. You can share it with other teachers who you think would benefit from this. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I mean, everyone's still on this call at this time. You all are the real MVPs, because this has been, quite an intense training. So thank you for taking the time to wait, and see you at our next event. Have an amazing day.